been quite a while since I've done one of these videos, but I figured it's about time that I did it again. So just to catch you up to speed, here's how it works. I've got a wheel full of different limitations to use in design. I'm going to spin it 3 times. Whatever it lands on, that's what we use. So if one of the limitations is I can only use one image, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll then take those 3 limitations and I'll make a poster design using those 3 limitations. So let's see what our limitations for this design are going to be. All right, so our first limitation is the poster design needs to have a heavy focus on typography. And our second limitation is to use a grid. And the final limitation is it needs to be a grunge design, which is gonna be kind of interesting because typically grunge design doesn't really utilize grids. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with that kind of combines the grunge and the grid. At any rate, we're just gonna jump into Photoshop and see what we can come up with. Alrighty, so we're in Photoshop. I picked out 2 words that I think we can use. Maybe I'll change it, maybe I won't, I'm not really sure. But I just looked up word of the day and I was just looking through the list as well as the word for today. And what I saw was cataract and cynosure. I thought they were kind of interesting words. Maybe I could do something cool with them. I don't know, it's just a start. So then our next thing that we're gonna have to think about is our grid, which I'll show you how I do my grids. There's been a couple people who have asked, which I usually go to View, Guides, New Guide Layout. This is typically what I use for a lot of my designs. I just really like the 12x6. It's really easy, it's pretty flexible. So yeah, that's pretty much what my grid looks like most of the time. I usually don't default to anything else, but sometimes I do, but I guess you could think of this as just my go-to. We've got our words, we've got our grid, so now we just need to grunge it up and make this something interesting. So what I'm thinking is just taking the letter forms from one of these words and then kind of like overlapping them or making them big and small and composing them in an interesting way. That's just kind of what I'm thinking just right off the bat. I'm more familiar with the word cataract, so I'm gonna start with that, just because I kind of already know what it is. So I'm trying to think of what I can do that's going to allow it to work within the grid, because that's the one thing that I'm not super sure about. One of the first things that I think of is, or at least that I notice, is that A is used a lot. So the first instinct that I would have is to basically just get rid of all the A's except for one and try to make the word focused around that repeating letter. So basically we have one big letter A and then maybe we would do, so like C, cat, so like something like this where the letter that is repeated is in the same spot, but we're just reusing that same letter instead of having it repeated 3 different times. So something like this could be interesting. I'm not sure how that will work with the grid. That's kind of the weird thing here. So I'm gonna duplicate this layer just because I don't want to lose what I have. And I'm gonna reuse some of those. I'm just gonna call it number 2. So that way I have like the 2 different variations of the idea. So if I wanna jump between the 2, or if I wanna come back to an idea, I can do that. That's something that I do a lot. So let's see here, what if I like flipping up the A just because I think it's cool, assuming. So what if kind of did it this way? It's like we start with C up here. Okay, so here's something interesting that we could do. Because of the way that this word is split up, if we split each line into its own syllable, we get this cool empty space. I'm wondering if maybe we do something with that. I like this idea, but it doesn't really feel that grungy. I guess it's also not necessarily focusing as much on the type. So So I guess I kind of wasted my time doing this, but I don't know. I can always make multiple posters because I can do that, because I can do whatever I want. So maybe this will be an extra poster that you get out of this video, because I think this is cool. I want to explore this more, but I do want to do the challenge. Not gonna lie, I hate this. We're gonna keep going. Yeah, I just can't find a layout that I like. So maybe what I need to do is ditch this idea. Because I could also try using some different fonts. That could be something fun to play around with. Why does this look so bad? That's so bad. That's such a bad C. Look at that. That is not a C. All right, so that ain't working. So I'm going to just work on it as a single letter or single word instead of having the individual ones. So I want to make sure that the poster focuses mostly on the type, but if I were to do a layout like this, it's going to be more image-based with just the typography. So maybe we don't do that. I don't like any of this. All of it is bad, except for like the thing that I was most excited about. Yeah, this, but it's not really very grungy. But I am most excited about it. So I feel like gotta be something here that I can do. Like I could do some kind of like collage or something in this, which I guess would be kind of grungy, but not quite. Then maybe there's some typographic thing that I could add or do to add in those like grunge elements. Maybe that's what we do. We just double down on this because I tried a couple other things and they not working, not good. Well, now that I'm thinking about it again, it's still not typographic heavy. I don't know why every single one of my ideas is so garbage. This never happens whenever I'm designing by myself, but of course, whenever I've got an audience, all of a sudden my brain just ceases to come up with good ideas. I hate all of this too. I hate everything. It all sucks. Everything's bad, terrible. Odd. Okay, so I took a short break and I think I have two ideas. So this one, I want to explore more, but it's kind of like the general idea. I want to like cut off some of the letters and stuff. The other one was to take this and then turn it into like one of those eye exam things. Here, you'll see what I mean here in a second. I don't think I care for this that much, but it's there. So I'm gonna stick with this. I think that this is my best bet so far. I don't necessarily love this, but I feel like we're getting somewhere. which is kind of all that I could ask for at this point. It's frustrating. It's like I have something in my head, but I just can't quite get it to come out how I want it. Man, this is taking so much longer than I thought it would. That's kind of interesting. Just seeing enough of their face. It's mostly just texture. I like it. That's interesting. So now we've got some bleed where they're kind of connecting and a little rough around the edges. Just some texture. From here, we just start adding some kind of textures and some grunge elements. After struggling with this poster design for almost 2 hours, here's where we ended up. Honestly, this isn't one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made, but I still enjoyed how it came out. I think this is one of those times where the limitations really clashed with each other, and so it's really hard to make a cohesive piece that I was really happy with. I think maybe it could have been different or better if I would have had some different limitations, but that's not what happened. But I did have that other design direction that I was really interested in and I wanted to explore, but since it didn't really work with the limitations, I decided not to pursue it. But since now that I've done with this poster, I think I can take some time and explore that as well. So here's what I came up with for that poster design. Honestly, I'm a lot more happy with how this one came out. It just feels a lot more my style and kind of how I would like to do things. But again, I didn't really have to worry about any limitations with this. So this is just me just having fun and doing something that I like to do. So imposing limitations on yourself might not necessarily lead to your best work, but sometimes you'll be surprised where it can take you. Because for instance, I wouldn't have been able to come up with this design had I not been trying to design within some limitations. So something that I want to point out is just that sometimes the creative process is that, a process. You don't necessarily go straight from A to B. Sometimes you go to A to D to C, and then you get to B. Whenever life throws a wrench in your plan, just kind of go with it, enjoy it, and try to learn something from it. And then maybe on the other end, you'll be able to come up with something that you wouldn't have before. But with that being said, I'd love to know what you guys thought about these designs. Were they good? Were they bad? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you enjoyed this kind of video. The last time I did it, the video didn't perform very well, so I didn't really want to do it again. So I'm just kind of testing the waters again to see if people are interested in this style of video. So if you like this video and maybe you have some more ideas for some limitations that I could add to the wheel, let me know in the comments as well. But if you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful at all, I'd appreciate it if you would check out the rest of my channel and then consider subscribing. Hope to see you in the next video.